Hello, this is Dave from 80's Reboot Overdrive. This is a 80's Micro Reboot, January 20th, 2017. As I'm recording this, I finished editing our 80's Innovations show, and that was posted a little earlier this week from when you're going to get to listen to this. What I wanted to let you know is some feedback exchange that I had with one of our listeners was it was recommended that if we do have a pre-show conversation that's not necessarily on topic, it's a good idea that every so often one of the co-hosts brings it up and says, hey, we have this topic, we're going to be getting to it in a minute, please continue to listen. In the case of this pre-show conversation that we had with Scott, Rose, and myself, we didn't do that at all. And I think it sounds kind of cheesy to edit that kind of thing in. So my new kind of general rule of thumb is if our pre-show conversation lasts more than, let's say, 15 minutes, I'm going to edit that part out and then deliver it to you as a micro reboot episode. The thought process with that is not necessarily that we have any 80s content in this episode. There's absolutely none. So if that's all you're looking for is 1980 specific content, this show isn't for you. However, if you're looking for a show where you get to understand Scott, Rose, and myself a little bit more in our personal lives and our interaction with each other, then I encourage you to continue to listen. So that's what I'm going to be using as our new format when I'm editing things, especially if we have dialogue that lasts a little bit longer, where it's not exactly on the topic that is being advertised via iTunes or Libsyn or however you're getting the podcast delivered to you. So I hope you enjoy listening. Once again, if you are looking for just specific 1980s content, this episode doesn't have that. Whether you choose to continue listening or not, I appreciate you checking out the show. And I promise that our Tuesday episodes are going to be specific to the 1980s. Insert bumper here.
Sword of omens, give me sight beyond sight.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready. Prepare for blast-off.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88. Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
Remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
This is 80's Reboot Overdrive podcast.
We were dancing just like Swayze when Jennifer Grey had a nose. Oh, how I miss the 80s, but I'm too young to really know.
Oh my god. That is like so dated.
Hello.
There he is.
Sorry about that. I was logged into my other user account because yesterday I did a Skype session with myself to watch our foster dog while we went out.
Oh. Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah, I just had a Billy Idol song in my head when you started that thought process. I started a Skype call with myself.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So I just had that quickly in there before you went further. I was like, oh, that just ruined it. You should have just left the story alone. I was talking to myself.
Yeah. So I had to switch back to my regular one.
So you everything still work with the regular one?
Oh yeah, everything's good.
Okay.
No matter which one I use now, everything's cool. I fixed the
mic thing.
mic situation, the recording situation, everything's good. So, but we went out when I met Chris, from Auto Reverse show.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And we met up with him and his wife Rosetta for a quick dinner out last night, and we just got a foster dog on Wednesday, and it was the first time he'd been left alone in a crate, and so we wanted to keep an eye on him because we don't know how he's going to react, like if he has separation anxiety or whatever. So we did it. We set up my computer next to the crate and called in a Skype session from my phone and sat there and watched him while we had dinner. So,
Aww.
yeah, just to make sure that he wasn't.
Cool.
Because we had problems with our first Greyhound, Bo.
Mm-hmm.
He's still with us, of course, but Bo, he had some severe separation anxiety. He did not like being in a crate, and he chewed his way through the metal bars at one point. So,
jeez.
Yeah, like I said, he did not like being in a crate. And when we saw how stressed he was, when we would come back, his bed would be all, flipped all over the place, and we noticed that one of the bars had been chewed loose. We're like, okay, what's going on? So we set up the Skype situation for him, and we would just leave the house for like 20 minutes just to see how he would do, and he was just not good. So that's how 3 months later, we ended up with another dog to help in that situation because, then he doesn't feel as alone. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's why I had the Skype situation set up last night, watching our dog, who actually got adopted today and went home with his family. Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's good. This poor family. They had adopted a dog, and they nobody knew, but he had a brain tumor. And died within like the first few weeks that they had him.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, and this was just a month ago. And so, when the family was, they're like, we just want to get right back into it. We know that, it's hard to deal with, but we want to jump right back in, and everybody's very supportive. And when we called him Finnegan. He came in on Wednesday. His last race at the track was January 4th.
Wow.
So he's fresh off the track, and he did really well on the track too. He's 4 years old, and when this family said, what they went through, we're like, oh man, this would be the perfect fit for them to just get right back into it. He's already a little mellow. He's going to be a perfect family member, and sure enough, they came and picked him up today. So it's all good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That is.
Happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's your guys' day going?
Well, other than the dryer debacle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hats off to the people that will, know how to fix things that are smarter than me as far as like mechanical, and they decide amongst themselves that, what, I'm going to put together a YouTube video that's going to help people. I mean, they get nothing for it, but they'll put that out there, and here's the common problems that you're going to run into, and like in this case, a dryer. And I ran into the same thing with my wash machine, that I fixed, several months ago, and just Google the symptom. A YouTube video comes up, shows you exactly what to look for, how to test to make sure that that's the problem. And really, the hardest part that I had in the whole thing was getting the replacement part. That's just because you got to go to like Sears Parts Direct, and you call this 800 number, and they're like, okay, well, there's nothing in your immediate area. We can send you a replacement part in 3 to 5 days. Having a teenage girl that cannot wait for her clothes that long, it kind of fast forwarded the way that I had to handle the situation, and so even though the store that I eventually got the part from, I they said, oh, they don't have it. So, well, we could order it and either have it go right to that store or send it directly to you. And I'm like, okay, well, let me call you back. So then I go directly to the store's website, and it says that they have it available.
Right.
I try calling, and of course nobody answers the phone. I leave a message, nobody returns my call. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to gamble and drive out there. And it's about 40 minutes away from my house, so it's not like, just right around the corner.
Where was it?
Yeah.
It was in Schaumburg.
Oh, Schaumburg, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, right outside Woodfield Mall.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so when I get there, and I said, hey, I placed this order online. I bet, I didn't really get confirmation that, you had it for sure, but your website said you did. And the lady's like, oh, yeah, no problem. And she walks over to this bin, and there's like 20 of them. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Wow. So I was like, well, thank you. And she goes, I'm glad that I was able to help your teenager's emergency. So, because I gave her a little bit of the backstory as to, making sure that, she was going to take care of me.
Yeah, there you go. That's funny.
Got home, put it in, and it worked. So thank you, Internet.
Yay!
$12 part.
That's so cool.
It is. What about you, Rose? You're the only one that didn't share a story yet.
I am. Jeez. Let's see. What did I do today? Went shopping. Had to get cat food. I have this amazingly finicky cat that eats pretty much anything that's not food.
Was it
But
Mufasa? Is that right?
Mufasa, yes, thank you.
Wow, I remembered. Yay.
You
Gave
did. Yeah, he eats paper, he eats the strings on my aprons, he eats plastic bags, toys. I mean, buy him toys and they're demolished.
Well, at least he's not eating metal gates like Scott's dog. So.
No, but my husband smokes, and the other day he got some tobacco, like the roll your own in case he runs out of his brand.
Sure.
And he had one on the table, and he got up to go in the kitchen. He doesn't smoke in the house, but he was rolling them in the house. And Vasa knocked it off on the floor and started to eat it.
That can not be good for him.
No, I was like, oh my God. So like the next 20 minutes or like searching the internet going, everybody's saying it's toxic, the worst case scenario is like everywhere. There's no one. The first place I go to, it's like, well, it's very unlikely that dogs or cats will actually eat cigarettes that are going, bullshit. You obviously haven't met mine, so he's like looking at us going, why did you take that away from me? So we watched him like a hawk for all day, and it wasn't like he could rush him to the vet because we don't have that kind of coin to just up and go to the vet,
Isn't it ridiculous? It's
we
like
don't need any more.
you have an emergency vet visit is like minimum $350 by the time you get out there.
Yeah,
especially
they're gonna get it out of you either way.
Emergency ones are really out of control.
They are, and they're very. The one that I went to when I had to put Noah down, her demeanor is just caustic. I could not even believe that she worked with. I was like, oh, don't ever work at a daycare with seniors, Jesus. She was just really very blunt and very
cold.
But anyway, yeah, very cold. Thank you. And I'm sure it's the nature of the beast, but still, you could have a little bit more warmth. Then, so if you can't fix them, you're putting them down. Then, yeah, well, yeah, sure. That's like the only other alternative, right? Or take them home, watch them die. Anyway, so I went to the store today and got him his food, and then I got him in hopes that he would actually eat some wet food. He eats baby food. We give him the little beech nut chicken and chicken broth.
Okay.
Baby food. He likes actual food. He likes real chicken. He likes real beef. He hates anything that's a game animal. No lamb, no duck, no turkey. He didn't like anything like that. But he likes seafood too, and salmon's his favorite. So I go to the store and I find like little tiny bits of stuff, and I buy that and I bring it home and I make it for him. As far as cat food, he's gone through. You name a brand, he's gone through it, and he eventually hates it.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that was kind of my morning. Went out shopping, went to Starbucks, came home, was reading the thread that we all had, and talked to a friend of mine I hadn't talked to for a while on Messenger. What else did I do? Nothing exciting like you guys, that's for sure.
I was out on a boat today.
Yeah, see, you guys live
fixing
the
a
highlights.
dryer is
I'm just
exciting.
like
I don't know.
average Joe. And then I got that memorial tonight that I'm, really not looking forward to going to, but I have to go because I've known the family for decades. So.
Were you close with the person?
We were at some point. We met him through church. This is probably I've known the family since like 90, 91. And we kind of fell out of touch, but I would see them every so often. And it was the dad that passed. He's such an awesome dude. Chuck was like, I don't know. First of all, he had a ducktail. And he always had it. And when he got married, his wife, Carol, they're just two like the unlikely people that you would meet. They're not like the stiff church people. They look like they would be, but they're not. They're just like totally cool. They're into like Doctor Who and and all kinds of stuff like that. They're just really like sci-fi people, and it was so cool because his idea of like casual wear was like Hawaiian shirts, jeans, and Chuck Taylors. I mean, he always wore Chuck high top. And after they got married, Carol got the job of doing his ducktail every week. It was just like wash his hair and then put all this mustache wax in it and all that. She explained it to me one time, and I just went, wow, that sounds like a lot of work. But it always looked amazing. Always. And he said, you have no idea. He said, sometimes I think I just married Carol just so I could have her do my hair. And she looked at him. She's like, you wish. She goes, don't forget, I feed you too. He goes, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. She does my hair and she feeds me. Like, whatever.
But
he was really nice.
Sounds like a really cool dude.
He was. And they sang in a choir. He was like a bass. Well, he was a bass. Definitely. You can tell by his voice. And she was like a first soprano. So they had been in a choir for like ever. And that's, pretty much I got to hang out with them. Their kids are kind of weird, but that's okay. I didn't have to live with them. So. It's going to be weird seeing them all after I hadn't seen him for a while. Even though I saw Chuck like a couple months ago when I was at the VA. He'd retired, but he went to the VA to drive the shuttle from, there's like one in Tacoma, and then you drive it to Seattle, and people have appointments in between both VA hospitals. So he's like, yeah, he says, I just couldn't, I need to stay busy, so I couldn't sit around the house and not do anything. I was like, okay. And I told him it was good to see him, and of course, the next thing I know, he was gone. So.
Well, yeah, not a great, doesn't sound like it's going to be a fun night.
No,
yeah.
it will, but they want it to, because he was that person. They highly encourage people to dress in the Hawaiian shirts and the Chuck Taylors. And I know a lot of the guys are going to show up. A lot of the guys that have known him for so long are going to show up and are going to be dressed like that. I'm sure somebody will probably find a ducktail or some wig or something they could wear in his honor. Because that's just the kind of person he was. He was a man of few words, but when he had something to say, it mattered. So, just a wonderful person. And it's just so sad that, you see the people that aren't even worthy enough to tie his shoelaces that are still kicking around here, starting trouble and giving people grief. So this is the part of life that I don't always get. So, I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, just thinking
All right,
that.
depressed everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking for like a memorial. When I do pass, it's like I just want people to just share the good times.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all sad. Try to keep it
No.
upbeat and remember the weird person that I am. And that's the
Yeah. Remember the Overlord. The Overlord.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's what I'd want. I don't think I need the thought process of the open casket type of thing going on and all that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
way too depressing. Way too.
Did you see did you see a picture of Carrie Fisher's urn?
No.
Mm-mm.
It was a Prozac pill.
No.
It was. She
Did you
had
guys-
like whole
Sorry, go
thing. Don't no. I was just letting you know that it was.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's funny.
That
She
is-
was a character.
She was. And you didn't notice that. I mean, you kind of saw it, but you didn't really see it. So you saw her in like interviews and stuff. And you're like, wow, woman is like unchained.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that that have those stories that when they've met her in person, and you got the uncensored Carrie Fisher, and it was like Leia was a badass. So I love it.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, totally. I love her when she was on Big Bang Theory. Her and James Earl Jones and Sheldon was eating ice cream with James Earl Jones, and they ran over to her house and knocked on her door and ran away. She was, knock it off, James. It's not funny anymore. I was like, oh my god, this is terrible.
We're doing a little mini tribute to Carrie Fisher right now. Huh? That's funny.
Yeah.
No,
Well, you know.
Did you guys ever see her HBO special called Wishful Drinking?
No.
No.
Oh, it was very interesting, very funny. It was her basically doing like kind of like a stand-up routine, but about her life, and it was very interesting, like where she came from. Being born of, into the stardom already with her mom and her dad, and it was really, and she told some of the darker side of being in the scene, the Hollywood scene for all those years.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was very interesting to hear her talk. It was one of the more, I love those types of documentaries. Not documentary, but
Mm-hmm.
you learn more about the person that's behind the characters that you grow to love. So it's
Yeah.
really, really fascinating. So
Yeah. They actually had started, and I don't know how long it had been, a series on HBO of her and her mom. And they were doing like a reality show because they lived next door to each other. Well, they did. And I think it was in its second season or something like that. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, obviously they can't continue on with the show anymore, but I thought that was really interesting that they would actually do something like that. So,
But Scott's got a point. We should probably get down to business.
I don't mean. I'm not trying to be.
No,
I think it's
it's
great
fine.
that we give her a
No,
little. Actually, I was enjoying this conversation. We had, we had some animal stories going on. We had a little mini tribute to Carrie Fisher. That's all good stuff. It was real. It was what we,
Dishwasher
just
and
friends
dryers.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So.
All right. So let's see where we're at here.
what are we doing today? First of all,
80s innovations.
I want to go last.
Okie dokie. All right. We hope you've enjoyed this show. This podcast is part of the 80s Reboot Overdrive channel on Southgate Media Group. You can follow us on Facebook on the 80s Reboot group page. We're also on Twitter and Tumblr at 80s Reboot. We invite you to check out all the wonderful podcasts and blogs available at southgatemediagroup.com. And thank you for reliving the 80s.